Well, I think Reason probably aren't going to make that too easy for them. Our final series of the day determines the fates of all the teams in Group B. We'll see how it goes.
All right, let's drop into our bands here. And as you said, Lemon, big eyes here on whether Elsa makes it through. It seems like everyone in the EMEA has collectively handshook this week that Elsa ain't happening.
Yeah, I think I've only seen, Sloppo today play like the Elsa, and Ballas going up against him on that mirror would be no joke. It's usually always a one-sided affair when it comes to Elsas or Gambits, whatever it is, but Reason are going to prioritize the Mantis off the bat.
Yeah, not even grabbing themselves the Gambit, which is interesting. I guess with a team that doesn't really play that much around the Gambit, they do have very successful triple strategist comps, so both of these teams looking towards that Mantis. I imagine we're going to be seeing Fahad pick up the Mantis to boost MJD, but, you know, they twist it around sometimes, as both teams are just going to make sure there's no Elsa to be seen.
I was wondering if the Elsa was going to be protected, but the Mantis, and what's going to be accompanying the Mantis? There's so many strong team-ups around it, from the Groot to the Loki to just... who cares about team-ups? Mantis go burr. And she gives amazing damage buffs to whoever, especially if paired with the Ultron. So no Lokis, or only a one-sided Loki, which Crownfall are going to hope to use.
Okay, Loki's pretty good. This might demand a group ban if you're going down the full Mantis team-up route, and it looks like Reason Gaming certainly have identified that. Rosa is a fantastic group player, so yeah. Gonna have to nip that one in the bud. These have been some great Vanguard bans from Reason Gaming, given that Crownfall, I'd say their best Vanguards are Rosa on the Groot and Abuhu on the Vanguard Deadpool.
And especially on Hell's Heaven, where the first fight win to be able to defend with Groot is just next level annoying. It is a nightmare to shoot down the walls. You have to think about heroes that are going to be good at doing that, which may dissuade people from running certain triple strategists and maybe opting for more of a 2-2-2, but the Invisible Woman will be the final protect here for Reason Gaming. To maybe deny any Star-Lord action from the other side, and namely to just have a consistent, strong backline, which Invisible Woman is such a huge core part of.
No double damage boost is declared here by Crownfall, getting rid of Reason Gaming's chance to make sure someone is incredibly pocketed by the Ultron. Although we'll see to what degree they are going to really zoom in onto a single duelist. For Crownfall, wouldn't be surprised to see Rosa walk out on this Doctor Strange, but I don't imagine that they'll stay on it for that long. Admittedly, they can play it with the Invis team up, because it's not a one-sided Invis, just guaranteed for Reason at the moment. And Seijiro has actually been lights out so far when it comes to those pulls on Venom. I think that's been the real standout for Reason Gaming's backline, just Seijiro playing that anti-dive Invis.
Even Rosa has, one of his backups has been the Emma, so Abuhu gonna be the one on that. Sometimes he likes to go for fun portal plays on the Doctor Strange, and even just play that on certain convoy maps, even Domination. But it's Fahad and Majed that have just swapped almost every duelist in the game, and some even odd choices from Namor to Punisher. And I say odd in terms of the meta, but they are still trying to find their identity and also what they're going to run off out the gates.
Okay, two duelists for Reason Gaming. They are going to be going very hard on the Mantis, though.
See where DRP wants to take them to, and it's also a good early scouting tool. But when do you want to pull the trigger? And it's also, do you reveal yourself at the front or in the middle of the team? And it's to try and block Crownfall from the point momentarily.
Was trying for a portal frag, which is a bit of a rarity at this level, but we have seen it happen. Abuhu's going to have time to start building up that telekinetic ray now, which is going to start doing a lot of damage once you're midway through the fight itself. Can't quite get the Sonic Crystal in time, and so they won't be able to crush the sentience of the Deadpool, but crushing Ballas might be just as good. A quick teleport away, manages to get themselves into a safe space, but it is in the line of sight of Majed, who's constantly getting all of that, my goodness, knocked around the back. Perfect recall on the Psionic Shuriken there to destroy Fahad, who is able to cocoon revival himself, and in towards the back now. There is this aim challenge going over onto Majed. The corrosive acid burns through the armor of the Punisher, and it seems like Reason have got everything they want in this first fight, apart from Kit Kat survival, which Darby has made sure isn't happening.
A really early Loki ult gonna copy the Soul Resurgence, because the point has not been capped yet. It also is gonna make Nocta's Dance of the Butterflies much weaker to have all these Loki clones to have to chunk through, but the shotgun hurts at close range, and Nocta found out the hard way.
Yeah, Nocta, I think, was attempting a spawn camp there. Marjad had just come up for zipline, but had seen some Momo TikToks, you know. Had the shotgun ready to go. DRP, once again, using the soft dive that was learned from Pasuo. And it is going to be a quick back off here from Rosa. Despite Reason Gaming's early advantage, they have lost quite a bit of their point contest here. Pasuo moves forward together with DRP. This could be a huge ultimate, but no, DRP falls midway through. Magic just gets stuck in. Oh, the CC immunity. That is disgusting. You hate to see it if you're a Reason Gaming fan. Crownfall are just going to be able to live all of this now, utilizing the souling. There's no way for KitKat to take their victims, and Majed is finally showing the gumption that we recognized before in MRC.
Both duelist ultimates from Reason after the regen domains were used for Yano, and they still couldn't get eliminations. The invisible boundary too from Sejuro, just to stall as much as they did, and Crownfall were observing with the Punisher ultimate and really saved. It was almost an ultimate to save themselves with, this Crownfall will be able to defend first, and they'll have the karmic revival from Fahad. So you got almost a mirror situation happening, but a difference in those duelists is what's going to make all the difference, while Reason Gaming actually lack, seems like, that damage from Ballast, but that's what who they're going to have to lean on. But you have to get through that Emma shield, and what's going to protect them too from the Emma ultimate. DRP has to be ready.
Pasuo ready to go. Debuffs for hard. Out comes so many of the defensive utilities, though. Both the regeneration domain and the soul bond have been used here, though, which is a lot off the plate for Crownfall. Luckily, they have been able to catch even more members, so they aren't going to be punished for their overlap.
A lot of tools for Crownfall, and they never even gave up the point. Reason Gaming are on the outside watching in, and there is some forgiveness from Crownfall. Invisible boundary from Sejuro just to be able to sustain through this Emma ult, but here's the counteraction from Ballast, and gets the double as soon as those revives came in.
Point blank with the damage boost. Two players will fall. Margin thinks it's winnable, though. Up comes the Meteor Ram. Instead, it's going to be sent over onto the hard, making sure there's no chance for any more revivals. But Ayana Koji already got the copy, already brought back their counterpart. Disgusting play on the Loki. And now back into their regular doppelganger form, able to pump out a bunch of heals to keep Abuhu up and kicking. Darby knows even more. In goes the Soul Resurgence, knowing that it's now or never to get rid of Reason Gaming. And Reason have to move on forward now. Their Vanguards put their lives on the line to make it happen. Pasuo disengages, but Ayana Koji's just feeling so comfortable back here. Regeneration domain keeps everyone healthy. DRP is down. Yeah, there's going to be a Venom moving in, but Rose is just trying to walk down Nocta, but Nocta needs a second Vanguard to try and deal with this one. Pasuo Sentience Crystal is chased off here by Abu, who continuously kicked off the point, and now it's for Phoenix, who has to try and keep this one contested. Pasuo can't disengage anymore. There are no further options, and Crownfall, what a statement.
So many mini games that Reason Gaming have to play. Taking down the Crownfall Loki clones. You have to get through the Emma shield. There's the DRP mag bubbles. Like, there's so much to mitigate all the ultimates and ways that Reason Gaming are trying to get picks. In Crownfall, they have domain regen. Worst case scenario, throw those up. They cover almost the entire point because the clones live on so much. Reason Gaming hadn't found a way in. 100-0 is domination, as we will have a pause here momentarily being called, so you'll see more of us here in a second. But that'll give everybody some time to digest what happened in round one.
I mean, big credit to Rosa as well. Like, I think a big part of that round turning around was Rosa getting the perfectly timed bubble on Majed when popping the final judgment. We saw DRP floating above it, like, please break the bubble, please break the bubble, please break the bubble. But, like, your meteor just gets overloaded so fast by the damage of a damage boosted final judgment. You've got to eventually throw it out. And credit to him, connected onto Fahad. But unfortunately, Ayana Koji had already copied the Adam. And so there was a second resurrection coming through with Cocoon Revival, like, I'm back again. And guess what? We've still got final judgment. So no luck there for Reason Gaming.
Yeah, talk about the mini games I just said. Just when you think you beat the first level, there's level 2, and it's Adam who brings everybody back. So good mention there, Leg. Reason Gaming, I'd love to see that a second duelist, because I don't think Ballast can do it all on his own. And it's no shade. It's just there's a lot of damage you need to output to get through this strat line of Crownfall and to reestablish yourself in the fight, because yeah, the Adam will revive everybody, but if you can just keep momentum and be aggressive and push forward, you're almost you could maybe punish the team for being revived like that. So Reason Gaming, though, not having the Loki is going to hurt them a lot, and which means you also can't play the Psylocke into a Loki. Reason Gaming had to swap off of that ASAP.
Like the wave that you can counter the Dance of a Butterfly so easily using for regeneration domain. And of course you can mitigate some of those strikes as well if you don't have regen domain by putting up your doppelgangers, because they'll absorb 2 strikes each, which is like you can solo tank it. Like, oh, my team won't stack up when I get ulted by the Psylocke. Never mind, I'll stack with myself. I outnumber you.
Our game is almost ready to go, and Passmo and friends from Reason Gaming, I don't think have been punched in the mouth like this in quite a while. Like you said, they look so good on domination against Rad, and this is just not the best domination map for this team, who I think looks stronger on dive behind Passmo's Venom, and this is just not the best map because of all these low ceilings, but they may consider it going forward as Passmo was still on it, so they're going to go back to what's worked for them, but I don't like the Psylocke.
Yeah, not the best dive map, but at least better than the previous one.
Yeah,
which was for lower ceilings. Slightly higher ones here for Passmo to try and work around, as well as these pillars, which give them good wall climb potential. Already a Boohoo, you can see that their damage boost. I don't think I managed to get the Carbon Crush grab there, so there's going to be a little bit less threat that Passmo has to deal with. But you can see that Crownfall just all together in this little area, attempting a dive.
Yeah, just that diamond form to kind of disrespect the Magneto too, like, and to force out cooldowns. You just gotta be having a bubble or a shield ready at all times, because Abu still has that psionic seduction, and Passmo has some space to operate on the Venom. But here comes the final judgment.
Rolling forward into the invisible boundary. Extra speed coming through. So much protection needs to be given over to Majed right now, and it seems to be working out. Even with the Meteor M, it's finally Passmo who makes it happen with the frenzied arrival. But guess who's back for hard this time with the res? Majed is back in the play. But Kit Kat ready to go. Eternal Bond if it's needed. And of course, with Darby already being down, maybe Reason Gaming are calling, but this one's under control, and we don't need to hyper invest in this. Resurrection comes on through. DRP falling low, and that means that now you have to go. Can Rosa get the cancel here onto the Eternal Bond? Instead sends it into their own team, trying to play this kind of counter dive kind of motion. Rosa now going to be backed up. It's going to be a roll forward here. Majed has extra movement speed thanks to the Soul Resurgence, and that makes it all the more deadly to use that shotgun as Nocta stands alone on the point. Only Passmo now remains. There's still a good angle here from Valis, but I think you're going to need more than accuracy to burn through 5 members of Crownfall.
Yes, the Punisher hero is so good at being an anti-Vanguard duelist. That's the reason why Sparker has it in his back pocket. As a Vanguard player, the shotgun is a life ruiner, but Reason Gaming used so many ultimates, never capped the point. There was so much protection around DRP, who actually blocked the Meteor M from hitting his cloak and dagger. So DRP's now on the Angela, though, and he's trying to maybe scoop some people up. Oh, psionic seduction, though.
Who's going to be seduced? Passmo has to turn and look at the pretty lady, and so doesn't see the shotgun at their back. The rest of Reason Gaming have done well to just back away, but once they're in these exposed positions, that's where Rose can try and find the combo as they wait for the elevator. So relatable.
Just what I needed.
I think Emma is the coolest bodyguard to have if you want to be a shotgun only Punisher, because who's gonna step up to you? Because Emma's just gonna push you on your back. It is very scary to go up against Emma, because she'll usually try to kick you into her own team. Reason Gaming, now that they're also off the Magneto, don't have an easy shield to bring up to stop the psionic seduction, so Abu's gonna have free ults, and I guess Crownfall got free picks.
Yeah, just a nasty mag cannon there. Stop DRP in midair. Passmo doesn't really have the HP to try and deal with this one. Rosa is just on it when it comes to their mag accuracy right now, easily comboing these players. Morbalis continues to find this kind of unpressured high ground. By the time they really get any value off the back of it, already they've lost both their Vanguards, and Rosa with another combo. He's filthy today.
A mag is doing way too much work. You tried to ban Rose's best hero, and you're paying the price. This is going to be 200-0 if Reason don't get it together.
All right, pressure ready to be put on. Ayana Koji ready to use the Soul Resurgence. Has to be careful. Won't necessarily extend the Transformer for Loki for that much. Okay, Marged is going to be incredibly fast moving through here as well. Looking for that attempt to shut it down with the Feast of the Abyss. But guess what? The Phoenix ult don't last long when faced with this much damage. Fahad needs to think about disengaging. Maybe looking for a late action usage. Oh, nice CC immunity there from Marged as well. I mean, I know that I'm blazing all of these, but keeps dodging all of these Jeff ultimates. Valos needs to move on forward here. Start to build up the sparks on those who get resurrected. The Hand of Conscience a little bit too far back. Darby gets pushed back into it, but has the movement speed to get away, and there's nowhere for Valos to go but into the crosshairs of Majed. Yeah, Nocta turned up on the Moon Knight, but the desperation is not rewarded, and Crownfall take a map.
I think it was a bit of a comp difference, I'm not gonna lie, and an execution difference, and Nocta swaps to the Moon Knight at the very end. I wish that I'm a cope. I wish that came out earlier, because the Psylocke was not it. You wasted time on that, and if you want to try and punish the amount of clones, the Moon Knight is that pseudo counter to that, although it's really fallen out of the meta. I think that would have been better served earlier on. And of course, all the ballast picks that happened at the end all just got revived by Fahad. Like, Crownfall 200-0, I did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah, I like Nocta's train of thought here to go to the Moon Knight. I would need to check the replay, but I do think they missed the Hand of Khonshu on Fahad's res, which is unideal. But in theory, that is the correct answer to the res. Like, the amount of pocket that Majed is getting right now is kind of off the charts. Like, Darby using every single one of these Soul Resurgencies just to give Majed extra speed as well during that Final Judgment, because that's the main, like, downfall of Punisher's ultimate, right? That he's so slow and he's easy to kite away, but if you give him the speed boost from Darby, suddenly that is no longer a problem, has even more health as well from the over health. That lets him live through the Feast of the Abyss and has the firepower to get rid of a Phoenix ultimate in the sky in like half a second as well.
I just like that Crownfall found an identity and really owned it. Like, Majed owning on the Punisher, and it was a lot of the shotgun Punisher too, playing in tandem with an M and a mag. Like, if there's one duelist that should be commending his whole team, it's Majed thanking his whole squad. Of course, the triple strategist. You can't deny the poke that Adam does at range. Even Fahad is getting a couple of picks, had dropped 10k damage on the Adam. You have the damage boost from Dabi. So overall, I like how Crownfall really supported Majed and the Final Judgments to give himself invulnerability at times to get away from some hectic moments. The Invisible Boundary proved to be a hurdle, a hoop for Majed to get through. But I like the adaptations that Crownfall brought out when they were getting banned against.
I haven't seen much of Ayana Koji on the Loki previously, I've got to say, but I am quite impressed. Turns out there's a reason why that character is as banned as they are, and it seems like Rosa, we duo, so he won't mind me giving him a bit of BM, finally got his hands back. Like, where have Bro's hands been? They've been pulled out of the box, Cuffy has unconfiscated his hands, and Bro is now fragging out on the mag.
Yeah, that Loki dropped 30,000 heals, though, for a Yano. Like, that's how long these doppelgangers were lasting through. And like I said, Reason Gaming were playing so many mini-games. The Loki doppelgangers to the Fahad reses to Abu Diamond form, a shotgun from Punisher, and a 200-0 for Crownfall. Reason Gaming, they gotta keep composed. It's the last match of the group stage, and we'll find out what their map pick will be after this.
Clear the way! Feel the pull! Disappear!
Technically, Reason Gaming still could make it out of some weird scenario if they do win this at the end, but Crownfall are trying to make sure that does not happen. One more map is all it takes for their first victory in Ignite 2026, and we're all here for it. But like you said it best, Lemon, it seemed to be just a bit of a composition difference between these two teams, and no one could take out much Ed.
Yeah, one-sided Loki Mantis is not cute, and why people really prioritize that. But as an Emma main, there was Emma value today, and I will continue to lock her in games going forward. And that's why I gas up Abuhu, because he knows when to bring out the right stuff. And they tried to ban against the Vanguards of Crownfall. They just have a backup plan. So maybe we got to go back to let's get rid of the really OP team-ups and then worry about what Vanguards could come out.
I mean, with that leg day, there's a lot of potential for different maps we can go for this one, but Museum of Contemplation, this will be a first that we see for Crownfall, so maybe trying to go with something that isn't their comfort zone, at least in Ignite specifically. We did see Reason play this, but it was a 1-0 hold from Rad Esports against them earlier this weekend, so I'm kind of curious on what you think the decision making might have been here.
I think this is because Crownfall were playing a very static comp on domination. I think Reason Gaming are hedging against going up against another like bunker style comp, like this double shield with the Emma, with the mag.
A lot more flexibility, maybe a little bit better for Passivo on that Venom. I mean, we didn't really get to see that based on the map last time, Jen, and this could be their time to be unleashed.
I need to see these Vanguards step up for Reason Gaming, and I think it was a map diff, a compositional diff, but especially Passivo. I want to see Aggressivo, and this is the best map for Venom because it is so large. On every other map, you can make a case for Hulk, but this is going to be the Passivo playground. I feel it in my bones, and I'm feeling DRP is going to be ready to clown. Of course, he's been a fantastic Magneto throughout, even protecting Seijuro coming out of that Eternal Bond. DRP was able to shield him from a Meteor M, so there's flashes of brilliance from Reason Gaming, but I need to see better decisions going forward in terms of the compositions and understanding those counters really well.
It seemed like a lot of focus was put on just boosting Ballast as best as they could and rallying around them, but you can't have just one individual player against this full roster of Crownfall. They have taken the time throughout their training arc to level up, and now we see the fruits of their efforts. Can they pull off the upset? Can they get their first ever win in Ignite 2026 preseason? It's time to find out now.
Oh boy, I know if Crownfall are 2-0ing this one, I'm going to be checking Cuffy's Twitter like, okay guys, I made the team environment terrible and we started winning. One big up to Cuffy going through adversity. It's time to get stuck into our bans here. Reason Gaming, they're going to be desperate to just try and find a way around Crownfall's like hyper pocket of Major.
Yeah, that Loki cannot be slipping through, and it's got to be a prio around those strategist teammates. It's a big reason why in a lot of our series you're seeing like 4 strategists banned, because they are really the glue to the operation, the gears that keep the machine turning, and there's so much triple strategist going around that you need to make these options as awkward and comfortable as possible. As Reason Gaming want that Mantis involved, Crownfall will have their first protect, and it's gonna be around the Mantis as well. Now Loki's, I gotta see those banned out.
Yeah, for sure. For Loki has to go. But one thing that does stick out to me is that Reason Gaming, they did this last time, and they didn't really make good use of the Mantis. They were playing that double duelist lineup, didn't get much use out of the Mantis at all. Finally, we might see the ban on the Loki at least here from Reason to try and constrain Ayano Koji yet again. It's going to be a mutual ban, of course.
Let's go. No Elsa, no Gambit, just vibes. Well, we'll see where the vibes fall to for Crownfall, what they want to ensure going forward. Because again, this is a team that is a jack of all trades, but really became the masters of that Punisher composition. But I don't think you're going to be able to play Shotgun Punisher on a gigantic Museum of Contemplation.
I mean, you at least would have your means of like trying to deal with Passivo at least. And once again, it's going to be Rosa popping the target ban here, knowing that, hey, that healing wall that the Mantis gives is going to be very troublesome. And the protect here on the Ultron, knowing that it was banned out previously by Crownfall, I think that's fairly smart. because it means that you can play that double damage boost if you're so inclined and really put all of your eggs in the ballast basket.
You'll need a
And no invis, which is a pretty good anti-dive measure. So one-sided invisible woman, where Dobby, that was their specialty. So excited to see Crownfall on defense first. This is Reason Gaming's choice of map and choice of side, where we'll get to see Ballast shine even more. He started to really rise to the occasion with these picks at the end. It just sucked that an Adam resed and forgave all of that, which Fahad is floating on that as well. So that'll be maybe another problem Reason have to continue to face.
I'm sorry to deny you more Emma Frost content, but we do have a Boohoo on their specialty. The Vanguard Deadpool is available. DRP is going to be the only one with a Groot in the lobby as well, which could be a little bit troublesome for Rosa, who's going to typically be playing the less mobile Vanguards, who are more likely to be separated by the big wall.
And Majed, interestingly, not too many people are playing the Winter Soldier. Mr. Bucky himself, but Majed is one of the few that do such a strong neutral with those hooks, especially if people cannot escape away from it. There's a lot of ways to get around it. If DRP sticks on the group, for example, that Ironwood wall would make you immune to that. And the Kraken impact may lack the impact if you have the triple strategist, because you need those health pools nice and low to get those executions. Reason Gaming, though, out the gates. This is the passive playground. This is the reason why you pick this map.
I'm not going to lie, against both, they... oh, wow, DRP already dragged on in. Tries to avoid any more CC using the big wall. It's going to be very difficult for Password to get value against. With the double pull that can come through from the Winter Soldier and the Invisible Woman, Password is going to be strained in terms of their movement.
Just a poke composition from Reason Gaming with Ballast. Now, if there would be a time to run the Psylocke... Oh my god, Nocta exploded. Heads up play from Rosa.
The pulling goes crazy there. Just dragging Nocta in. There's no real way to get out of that easily if you're an Ultron, if you've already used your burst movement as well. Ballast still wants to stay in the lane, though. Feels like there's something here. There's a hankering in his bones for some violence.
Yeah, and having the one-sided Groot, you could try to punish the Deadpools that walk up, just like DRP is doing now, but Crownfall are still holding strong.
Oh, I think someone just fell over in the apartment above me.
Glad that wasn't you. I was worried.
So, disengagement is so difficult to make happen here. Like we pointed out before, the double pulls against the Venom are a little bit untenable to try and go against. Ballast wants to fly away. Quick TP is going to make it happen. And DRP, the downside of a Groot is that you are absolutely feeding XP to a Boohoo who's leveling up at record clip.
DRP needs to play around his Ironwood walls too, because if you don't, he'll be a victim like he was earlier with these Winter Soldier pulls. Now strangling Prison. That's why he's trying to play aggressive at initial wall, but Crownfall stand tall.
All right, a lot of damage coming through, and of course the anti-heal as well, but it seems like Ayana Coach is getting so much value off the back of this invisible boundary. 2 ultimates traded for 1, but now Reason Gaming, they don't have so much to worry about when it comes to Balance's ultimate. The End Song Inferno, if it could be boosted up, could be absolutely deadly. Darby already afflicted with a couple of those. Oh, Balance's accuracy is absolutely nothing to shake a stick at. Rosa gets 4 stuns, but no one's there to follow up. Majed's going to try and give it a go, but it seems like even with everyone afflicted with the culling aura, it's down to Fahad to make the res happen. Majed, I don't think can get any resets here, so no again to be heard in the halls of contemplation. A Boohoo moves forward, but Ballast is there to meet them, and Darby just a second too late. Everyone's dragged into one place. They're slamming down from above. The soul link that came through right there from Fahad was so clutch to keep everyone kicking.
And even Dobby too with the soul resurgence. That extra overhealth made all the difference. No executions from Reason Gaming, as now the backs of Crownfall are against the wall with no tools to push back, but they just need to anchor, maybe build up towards those win conditions, but the fate is in Reason Gaming's hands.
Okay, here's the fate of both worlds. Look for shield play here to try and cut off the heal LOS onto anyone who might be overextended. A Boohoo just comes back in with everyone else waiting to recontest after the ultimate is over, and there it is. The invisible boundary traps in multiple players. They're slowed up when they cross the boundary as well, so there's no way to get out of it. It's perfectly managed by Crownfall. Unbelievable stuff.
Reason Gaming. They are pushed back right on the brink of success. Rosa had a better showing towards the end there. He kind of worried me with the 1v6 Ayavakamoto, which was fantastic if he had a team with him. Didn't realize Ayano had fallen, but Reason, they're not fallen yet until they did just now.
Oh, the second you had to turn around to try and deal with a distraction from a Boohoo, you just get 4. Oh, no, see that?
Bro, No. Ow. No, this is not real life.
Basuo did it to him, man.
Oh my god, Reason Gaming are rage baiters. There's no way. That is the worst one of the day, but let's lock in here because Machete just tried to pull somebody in. You got the Feast of the Abyss too.
Okay, Soulbond's trying to deal with that one. Single stun there onto Paso to try and stop any follow-up. Rosa just opts for one at the moment, but now DRP is going to be even more dangerous. Off of the Groot onto the Emma, and this means that it's more dangerous for Rosa to walk forward. Majed waiting with the Kraken Impact. Would love to try and grab in a squishy player and then bop them elsewhere using that Trooper's Fist.
And now that there's an Emma shield, it's even more difficult to find value, but the Crownfall Adam stands tall again. Their poke is strong.
Well, it is going to be a reset there onto Paso. Majed might have trouble going for yet another reset here. Could go over onto the Daredevil, and indeed the Culling Aura is applied. Can we get the accuracy onto Ballas? Majed's going in even further. He dreams of even more. DRP gets grabbed. A nice charge to try and stop the turnaround, but still it's going to be the Culling Aura and the reset. Reason Gaming just have to wait for 8 seconds here until this one's done.
DRP may have a diamond form, but Machete has diamond hands, and he's gonna think twice about entering the spawn room doors of Reason Gaming, but I'm sensing a tantrum, and I'm sensing Kit Kat too, with a nice opportunity to steal away Crownfall, especially if they're on the back foot, but these strats are in trouble. Paso is harassing them.
All right, inside of the Unicorn shield. Oh, the damage is just so much. Seijiro can't do anything. Look how quick they are going towards that spawn room. Can Paso even get inside? One big eat here. Well, Rose is actually doomed. Oh, Rose is not doomed. Oh, the focus fire from Crownfall is absolutely sublime. This is a different team. Where have you been?
Reason Gaming aren't going anywhere fast. Oh, Ballas! Chucked out the door. You're gonna need a ticket, son. Crownfall. Their neutral is strong with the pulls, and they have a band-aid in the karmic revival if things go awry. Reason Gaming, they cannot give up and they cannot surrender. They got the C9, and now they need to keep forcing mistakes out of Crownfall.
Oh, Fahad's actually doing so much on this Adam as well. The damage is real. Ballas swapping over onto the Namor. Abuhu just has this sniping position up on top. It's going to attempt to try and deal with it via Seijiro, who has to unleash the Kumiho here just to give over enough healing to the remainder of the team. But Crownfall is sitting pretty here with a Soul Bond as well. They're not too worried about all the damage that's coming on through. And here comes Rosa. No stuns coming through in this case. I think it might have been contained within a shield elsewhere. In comes the Phoenix Ultimate. Paso can't quite make it happen off the back of the dive. It's going to be grabbed back in. Welcome to the invisible boundary where your strategist can't see you and there's no healing to be found. Overtime in session. Abuhu around the side. Nocta never saw it coming, and now there's all the more that can be done. Dallas going to try and clutch this for themselves. Every crit will berserk for Squids, but you need to keep someone on the point. It's down to Paso to make it happen. A Spirit Sanctuary around them, and Kit Kat just throwing out orb after orb. Do you need the Eternal Bond right here? You have to try and deal with the resurrection. Fahad's brought Ayana Koji back, and so now's the time to roll on forward. It's Pasiwo who's too far away from the train though, and Darby just moves back towards the other side, knowing that they can just reset for later.
Crownfall. They have their Mantis clapping Reason's backline. What is going on? They are so dominant, and the last second pause is being called as we'll see if Reason Gaming can keep the rally going, but it's been a spawn hold of all spawn holds. So despite being gifted point A, Reason Gaming, I think, are going to be stuck halfway or short of halfway to the second.
We've seen a good amount of first point holds on Museum of Contemplation, so imagining that this goes the way of Crownfall, given that they've got 6 players up and currently have a Mantis ult active, and Majed's going to have the Kraken Impact in short order, I think they probably win this fight. Reason Gaming needs to start thinking about their defense. And honestly, it's not unwinnable for them. They've got a pretty solid defense, especially with one-sided access to the group via DRP. Majed's innovating a little bit, though, bringing back the Winter Soldier, which thus far has not seen a huge amount of success, but does have its uses against Venom.
If Reason Gaming aren't being able to shut down these off angles too from Crownfall, the way that Dobby is just trying to 1v3 the strat line here with Reason Gaming, it's been pretty insane. DRP is also on the Captain America, which is not going to be helping in terms of anything, because Crownfall are playing quite far away, and then the Captain America's got to put his good walking shoes on and ideally run towards that because Reason Gaming are barely keeping their heads above water. Nocta and Ballas are swapping to everything and anything. We currently have a Phoenix and a Namor to just have some kind of safe haven to fire upon, but I would like to just see DRP back on the Magneto. It's just something to be more front-facing with his team, but I think he wants to go and dive with Passimo, so they're trying anything.
Too. I mean, to be fair, you might need to, like, Crownfall, like, Fahad is just sitting pretty, and Bro's just been in the back aiming, you know, putting out the case to, like, let me back on Duelist, bro. Look what I could do with Adam. Imagine what I'd do if I was on Punisher right now. But honestly, surviving through the Eternal Bond from Kit Kat has been really viable for them. Let's get back into the action here as Crownfall tried their best for a last-second defense, and Reason Gaming are running out of options to keep this cart contested. It had to be Sagero for a moment, but no one else is there. Darby's popping up on the Mantis, and that's the hold.
Like in these Deadpool bubbles too from Crownfall, as soon as anyone tries to go near this school bus, they are magically thrown out of it because you're able to deny the healing that goes into the Vanguards that are trying to anchor the objective as much as possible, even ward away Crownfall. Reason Gaming, again, it's the exploration of identity. They swap to a lot of different duelists. I like that they have a second duelist. That was what I was really asking for after Domination. But Crownfall's triple strat is proving to be such a nuisance, especially this Adam getting through. You don't really see Adam bans, but the soul bonds have been so perfectly timed from Fahad that every time Reason Gaming look like they have a strong damage going in, it's distributed, and then you can't get any picks because of those soul bonds. So big fan of Crownfall's teamwork on the strat lines, and then Dobby's so comfortable they could just only do damage. So it's 6 picks too from Dobby on that Mantis in the last round.
Ridiculous stuff. Actually, getting more final blows than Majed, which is very impressive for a Mantis. It looks like we might see a Primal Flame team up here from Majed. That would be great for trying to isolate a singular target. DRP not being on the group does mean that they have to be very judicious with how they use their self-bubble.
And I think that this Wolverine was to maybe try and predict if DRP was going to be on the Groot, which would be the ultimate counter. And still not too bad on the Magneto. You just have a bit more grace to deal with that. But man, DRP is taking a heck load of damage. And look, they have to fall back to the back corner.
Yeah, like Majed, like you can see him just hanging out behind the window, like looking at you, kind of like in Star Wars. Just Darth Maul over there. I'm coming for you one day. And here we go. Falcon Rosa moving on forward. And of course, he does have that team up from the Invis as well. The self bubble's been used from DRP. Now that means that they're going to be in a very perilous position when the Feral Leap comes off cooldown. Majed's going to troll that corner.
Yeah, Majed is looking for an opportunity, but the spacing has been so good. But this is also free progress for Crownfall, and they got the picks.
Oh, well, Yana Koji does get hit with a banhammer, but honestly, the damage has already been done, so is moisturized, unbothered in their lane with the bus.
And Fahad, from the Adam to the Alpha on the Phoenix, and ults to spare to lock in this point A in lightning record speed for them. No C9 needed. Execution flawless for Crownfall, and they're letting it rain. Reason Gaming haven't even had a chance to breathe.
I think I heard someone was opening a portal. I don't know if it was Rosa or the respawning Reason Gaming. Either way, they don't manage to get there in time, and Abuhu's just claiming all of the space. Forces out for Soul Bond this early. Look at the aggressiveness that's coming through from this invisible boundary. Fahad and Majed are just running them down in the streets right now, and Nocta can't do anything as Rosa just walks them on down. Oh my god, he creased his J's.
Well, what was a crawl is a stand from Reason Gaming. Some point of stability, but the win condition, the finish line is ahead of Crownfall with almost 5 minutes. Sidrul has to step up to help the team touch the cart.
Okay, there was a weird portal that was happening back there as Pasuo drops on in. Majed just going to be walking forward, swinging those adamantine claws, knows exactly what they want. Kick has to be careful not to be pulled out of their own ultimates, for it's going to be a Terror Cape coming from above. Rosa temporarily blinded as the cellular corrosion will detonate, but Kit Kat is taken out of the ultimate. No more Eternal Bond. Far less healing's going to be coming without that dagger present at the moment, and Majed is ready to go for a final stand. Looks towards the back line. Might want to go after the Phoenix, but hasn't quite managed to grab anyone just now. I'll settle for the Deadpool. You know that he hates them in character and he hates them in the game as well. Majed brings it on forward, and Crownfall, welcome to the preseason, just in time to leave.
Reason Gaming hated how that series ended, going out with a whimper. That was just not the version of Reason Gaming, the one that faced Rad Esports and took a map from them. But man, did this team find what works, whether it's the Atom from Fahad, Majed on the Wolverine. You don't get to see that too often, and they even went back to the double duelist, and Crownfall hit Reason where it hurts. Even 18,000 damage from Fahad. He had half that round on Atom, swapping to the Phoenix. Crownfall, so aggressive, and it paid off. Who needs to play Venom? You just need a good team, and Crownfall get their first win in the Ignite preseason.
Just need a good team, and we've got the best team here, Vaultable. My host, what do you think of that one?
I think the win condition for Crownfall and any team who faces off against this recent roster is just shut down Passowo.